Hi, welcome to Analytics for All. This is lesson 8 in our module 2 of our Python for Data Science course. In this lesson, we're going to be working with rows in our data frames. So far in all the lessons, we've really focused with the data frames on columns. We've dropped columns, renamed columns, moved them around, added columns back and forth. So this lesson, we're going to work on rows, adding an actual data set or records if you're, more of a SQL type user. But let's go ahead, let's pop over into the screen. Let's get into this. Now, as with all my lessons, I have a full write-up on my website, analyticsforall.org. And let's just go ahead and we're going to pop over into the Jupyter notebook here. See if I can get it up. New screens. I'm a little still getting used to moving around here. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to zoom in. All right, so we're going to start here. We've got our Jupyter notebook open. Really quick, we're going to create import pandas as PD. Going to create a simple dictionary and push it to a data frame. We've already done this a bunch of times, so you should, this should not be new. Okay, so we have our data frame. We've got 4 columns, 8 records or 8 rows. So let's go ahead. Let's start by, let's start by learning how to delete a record here. Okay, so we're going to use the drop function. Now notice that I'm pushing this to a df1 because I don't want to knock out the main data frame. You could just rename it df and it would fix the problem. But notice I have it in I have df drop. So I'm saying I want to drop from the main data frame, which I created up here. And which do I want to drop? Well, I want to drop the df index of 1. Okay? So the index of 1 is right here. It's data frames are nice enough to give that to you. Okay. Remember when we looked at columns and rows? Rows were always here when we did slicing. Here, let me just put it up here. Just a quick reminder, like when we sliced, if I wanted up to 3, this will give me the rows. And if I want to do columns, that's the second set. So, because remember, whoops. Columns, remember we're going to put in the .iloc, sorry about that. And that'll give us that. But now you can see, we can slice with our columns too. Because always remember when you're looking at one of these, this is axis 0, and we always start at 0 in Python, and this is axis 1. So the first thing before the comma is always rows. So that's what we're doing down here. So we're saying index 1 is this guy right here. Not the first line. It's this guy right here. Because first line is 0. But I go there and I drop that and I rerun it. There you go. You see 1 is gone. So Jill is out the door. Okay, now I can drop, watch this. Now I'm still, 1's still in the df, if you notice, because, I did not change df. I'm moving this to df1, so you'll see 1 is still in df. So when I go to this next one and I say, I want you to drop df index 1, 3, and 6. That's what I want 1, 3, and 6 gone. Okay, there you go. I just did it by providing a list. And notice the list, I have 2 sets of brackets here because I have a list inside of that to make sure you put the extra brackets to indicate that you're passing a list to this. All right, the next thing, df drop index, I'm going to put -1. Well, -1, what that does, that gets rid of the last row, which in the frame is Carlos. So there you go. That gets rid of the last one. -1 gets rid of the last one. -2 would have gotten rid of the second to last one. Okay. Here's just another interesting tool you can use. And again, looking at the original df, not the one I've altered here. Shape. This will tell you the dimensions of your data frame, which it says 8 by 4, which I told you at the beginning. We have 4 columns and 8 rows or 8 records. But .shape will just always give you that, especially when you're looking at massive ones and it's hard to read them. Now let's go to here. Let's go ahead and we're going to filter out by some stuff. Okay, so using the .loc after my data frame, I'm going to pass my data frame column of salary up here, and I'm going to say I want anyone that makes less than 60,000. So if you look at all these, I want to return the ones that are less than 60,000. All right, so that's how we can filter by a row here. If you want to know how many indexes are inside your rows. You know, this is just kind of some random things you're going to work on. An index, again, is this row of numbers right here to tell you how much is in there. So if I want to look at the indexes in the DF, again, this is DF. I have not altered DF. I'm always pushing it to something else. There you go. Gives me my 7 indexes. And here, I just use a simple for loop. Let's do a for loop with some if-then logic and check this out. So I'm going to say, I want you to go through each row, iterate through each row, and then look at the row. I want you to look at the age in that row. If the age is over 40, I want you to create a new field called age category. And if it's over 40, they're older. If it's greater than or equal to 30, it's middle. And if it's young, anything else will be young. So we go ahead, let's try this. And we added a new field to the DF, okay? Age category. Next, let's go ahead and we're going to add a new row. Okay, one of the easiest ways to add a new row to a data frame is to first create a dictionary. So I have a dictionary that is basically one element. So I got all the things: name, age, salary, category. Got Gary's 56, makes 100,000, been there 33 years. He's categorized as older. And then right down here, I use the append function, just like you did with list. Append. I'm appending X, the dictionary, and ignore the index is true. So I want to just, push it through. Don't worry about locking the index in. Run this, and there we go. So now Gary appears down here, 56. So that's adding a row. Okay. And hold on, let me push so we can get down here so we can look. Okay, so this is actually just some notes I was made. We don't need this. We're going to go ahead and cut that out. And we'll look at this last one here. All right, so here I've created a data frame. I didn't bother even making the dictionary. I just literally created a data frame, which you can do here. And let me just name it something else so we can, and I'm going to take this and put it to a new row so we can just see it. Oops. All right. So notice when I just use a regular data frame full of list here, just 3, 4 list, it automatically gave me column indexes. So I have indexes for columns, indexes for the row. You could actually name the rows if you want. I'm not going to get it. I don't really find a lot of use for that, but I know people who do. But let's go ahead and take a look at this last thing. We're going to iterate through all of the items in a row. Okay? So I'm going to say for row equals df1, 1. So that's this row right here, def. And I'm going to say for index, item in row, items. So that's row. Row items is the method I want to print items. Or print item. There you go, def. And I could obviously pick a different row and do the same thing. And that gives me ghi. All right. So this is just kind of a way of looking at how we can work with rows within Pandas. We're going to be doing a lot of this in the later courses as we're actually working with the data, but I just wanted to kind of give you a quick lesson on different things you can do when it comes to working with rows. So again, this is Analytics for All. I'm going to put a link for my website down in the description. Also, if you like this video, like and subscribe. Leave me any questions. I actually made a few videos based on user requests. So if there's something you don't quite understand, it doesn't have to be within what we're teaching here. If it's SQL, R, machine learning, so I got a question, I can maybe make a video to help explain it to you a little bit better. Again, thanks a lot. This is Ben Larson. Hope to see you again.